Morning, and we are joined in studio by the director of Empower Mississippi, Mississippi Ready, I should say, Leah Ferretti. How you doing this morning, Leah?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing fabulous.
You are always so perky. I really admire that.
Thank you. Well, you know, I'm tired most of the time, so I've got to fake it till you make it. I have 3 children, and they're actually in here today, so it's a circus. I told them they could be a little late for school so they could experience the studio.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And as a matter of fact, if you want to, we'll get them on camera and talk to them for a second later on.
They got some headsets, and we're ready to roll.
Okay, good.
Bullpen. Yeah, they're having a big time.
Yeah, you're going to get replaced pretty quick here, Leah. I'm just warning you in advance. But before we do that, yeah, well, that's a parent's job, right? Is to pave the way for the kids to replace them. But paving the way is important, and you have to do it the right way, or you run into problems down the road. And I would think that's at least a part of what you're pushing for with legislation for charter schools, right? Tell us a little bit about what Mississippi Ready is about.
Well, amen to that, Dave. All right, so Mississippi Ready, it's a movement, it's a campaign. We are engaging all parents across the state of Mississippi because we are ready. We are ready for a change. We are ready to move forward with more school choice options. We need to ensure in our state that all children have access to a quality education.
Now, this has been discussed for a while, and we seem to have trouble getting over the hill on this subject when it comes to improving or changing the charter school situation. What's the outlook, do you think, coming up for this legislative session starting in January? How are things shaping up?
I think the temperature is just right. I think we are ready to move forward. In the state of Mississippi, we have 10 charter schools. 10, that's it. And it's really disappointing that we don't have more because parents deserve this option. I was just at Midtown Charter yesterday. Man, oh man, like the energy, the spirit of that community. That school was born from the community. The community needed it, they wanted it, they got behind it, and they are busting at the seams now because more parents have decided, hey, I can control my children's future. I get to decide where they go. So charter schools are a great option for families.
Well, it's hard to come up with a rock-solid argument against parent choice when it comes to education. That's kind of a plank of everybody's opinion right now, to one extent or another. But it is important to give parents the opportunity to make some decisions for their children, and this is a way to do it. Now, the discussion has been for a while the approval process of charter schools in Mississippi, which is how should we put this, Leah? Possibly wanting a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to say it.
Okay. I'm trying to be, very, very germane about this. What can be done to improve this? How can we fix it? How can we make it better?
Well, I think it's our policymakers need to listen to their constituents and what parents need. We were wanting that. So it's just representing your constituents well when you're making these policies moving forward.
In your opinion, boy, I'm going to put you on the spot here. In your opinion, how many charter schools should we have in Mississippi by now?
I don't think there should be a limit. I think we should definitely have more than 10.
We've had more than that apply to be officially put in as a charter school, haven't we?
We absolutely have, yes.
Do you have any idea about how many have applied and been turned down?
I don't know, but I know that there's more each year that it's a process, and the way that it's set up, it's very discouraging for people to get out and do the work and have these schools started. So we should make the process a little bit more seamless. But beyond charter schools, school choice it looks different for a lot of families. It looks like traditional public school. My own children are in a traditional public school right now. It looks like a private school utilizing an educational scholarship account. See, my family, our journey began about 10 years ago when we were in a traditional public school that just simply didn't have the resources our children needed. All three of my children are dyslexic. I tell people all the time, I really should buy lottery tickets more often, because if I was lucky enough to have all three kids to be dyslexic, I might have a chance at winning the lottery. So there wasn't a dyslexia therapist in in the whole region of the Mississippi Delta. So I went back to school, went to Mississippi College and got my master's in dyslexia therapy so that I could service my own children. And we pulled them out of traditional public school, put them in a private school that allowed me to customize my children's education. I was able to utilize the educational scholarship account to cover tuition, to come in and work collaboratively with the classroom teachers and provide therapy to my own children during the school day, which the public school didn't let me do that. And they just couldn't. Fast forward to today, we are in Madison, Mississippi. We have amazing public schools, and my children have assimilated well into that system. However, not all children learn the same. Not all children need the same thing. So even though I'm in a traditional public school with my children and they are fabulous, it may not work for all families. And that is what the beauty of school choice, that we recognize that children are individuals. They are unique. Education is more than that of academics. A child may be interested in drama, and we should be able to allow that child to go to a school that meets those needs.
Well, exactly right. And one thing I want to pull it out that you said there that is so important that we haven't, I personally don't think, paid enough attention to over the years. Children is not a monolithic term that they're all the same. We're not stamping them out in a factory somewhere. Every child is different, and what is perfect for one child is exactly the wrong thing for another. And what you're talking about here, what I'm picking up from this, and tell me if I'm wrong, is enabling a bit more tailoring of education and the educational experience to the child and what will best serve that child, as opposed to just a generic approach. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yes. We have been in an industrialized model of education for so long. And I feel like the silver lining or the beauty of COVID, parents got to take a peek behind that curtain. Some of them liked what they saw, and a lot did not like what they were seeing and what their children were receiving as far as education. So since COVID, before COVID, but COVID really put it on steroids, and parents took hold and responsibility for their children's education, and hey, we want more choices. Homeschool may work better for us. Oh, there's a charter school in my neighborhood. Maybe I need to check that out. So that's the beauty of school choice. It looks different for each child. It's not industrialized. They're not these cogs in a machine. And once we have identified that they are individuals, it's beyond that of a system. So we should be funding individuals instead of systems.
Well, and that's kind of the point that has been missed for a while, I feel. Because, again, you take any teacher, public school, private school, I don't care where they're at. You take any teacher and you show them something, some lesson plan, some lesson, some textbook, whatever, and they can tell you the kid in their class that will most definitely get it and it's going to help them, and the one that is just going to scratch their head and go, what are you even talking about? They know. Teachers know.
Absolutely. And like you said, I like how you said it doesn't matter if it's a public school teacher, a private school teacher, a micro school teacher. Teachers know. Teachers absolutely know what works for each of their students. Look at that cutie right there.
I know. I was just about to point out, you have really classed the joint up today by bringing that crew in.
You're welcome.
I would say on the camera there, your child on the left seems a bit old for school.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, but sometimes his behavior is still very elementary.
He has a very good mustache for a junior high kid. Excellent, strong mustache.
A lot of time in detention will do that to you. That's the way it works. That is a great-looking crew that you've got with you there, and they look happy, they look healthy. The goal to me for education is multiple. Number one, the kids are not always going to be happy about school, just like adults are not always happy about work, no matter how much they love their job. It's not necessarily to make them 24/7 giddy, but it's to prepare them for a good life, for a productive life. And everybody needs a different kind of preparation for that kind of thing, I think.
Absolutely. And my 3 children that are here today, each of them are very unique. I mean, my oldest, Thomas, I think we're going to go a trade route for him, which is absolutely like, yes, buddy, get out there. But it may look different for my middle son, who's interested in joining the FBI one day.
Very nice. Very nice. I know you told them that they could be late for school. Can you hang on for another segment and just completely wreck their morning?
Absolutely. I don't think they're going to argue about staying a little bit longer. Are y'all? Are y'all okay with it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. And let me just weigh in on this as well. They're going to be late already. Uncle Dave says stop for donuts on the way in.
Hey, we stopped on the way here.
Oh, even better. You're ahead of Uncle Dave. We are talking with, everybody is actually, Leah Ferretti with Mississippi Ready, and we'll continue talking to her next on The Gallo Show on SuperTalk Mississippi. Views in studio with us, Leah Ferretti, the director of Mississippi Ready. And before the break, you were talking about your older son wanted to go into a trade, and I believe the other son wanted to join the FBI.
Yes.
And those are great goals, and I actually have personal stories on both of them. My youngest son, fairly early on, said, I want to do something with my hands. I enjoy working with my hands, and he's currently now working offshore and making more money per year than I've made, I think, probably in my entire radio career added together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Doing fantastic. And my dad, your middle son might find this interesting. My dad actually graduated from the FBI Academy. So guess what? Kids, I'm telling you right now, everything's possible.
Yes.
Don't limit yourself in what you want to do. And there is no one set path, which is kind of your point, isn't it?
Yes. So every child is unique. And as parents, we know our children best. We know our children better than the policymakers. We know our children better than most of the educators. We know what path that they need, and we should not be limited because of income or zip codes on how and where we educate our children.
And that is the challenge here. What do you think the problem is in getting this across in such a way that it leads to a change in the way we do this?
I think it's just a lack of knowledge of really knowing what school choice is. I mean, you look at our surrounding states, they have surpassed us, which is kind of sad because, Mississippi gets a bad rap a lot of times, and we really led the charge a few years ago in promoting school choice and moving forward with educational scholarship accounts. We were ahead of the game, and then we stopped. And we didn't go any further. But now the temperature's right. I feel like our state will do what's right and follow suit with the rest of our states because we want people to stay in Mississippi. We want people to move here. And how are we going to get them here? Beyond that of industry, education. Education is the key and the foundation for everything.
Well, it's well known when a business is looking to relocate, to build a new location, to open a branch or a factory or whatever, one of the first things they look at is, what's the educational system like? What are the schools like? How are things going? Because that is an indicator to them of a lot of different things, including, is there going to be a workforce there that we can hire from? These are all important, and this topic has an economic impact that I think a lot of people underestimate.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you talk about when industries come in, if they were able to look beyond the public school system, if they would see that, hey, we've got some great private schools here, we've got some great charter schools here also, that means that they can open up their employee pool more because they are able to provide those options for those families and for those employees to educate their children how they see fit.
And that is the other aspect of that, because it is attention to the needs of your workforce. If you're bringing people in from out of state, management or other things, they want to know, hey, is there a good school for my kids if we go here? So all of these considerations have a direct impact on the economic success of the state, which is what makes it so important. When the legislature convenes in January, what specifically would you like to see happen?
I would like for school choice to move forward, whether it's more charter schools, to remove barriers in our traditional public schools. Right now, what we're seeing is that the home district and the receiving district has to approve a student to move, which is insane. And what we're coming across in a lot of districts that I'm familiar with, the home district is holding that child hostage. They'd rather hold them hostage and not allow that family to go to a district that maybe there's certain therapies that child needs that are specifically for them that their home district does not provide. Maybe it's they have a fabulous STEM program and that child wants to go in a STEM-driven career. We shouldn't hold them hostage. And if the receiving district has the accommodations, has the resources, and they're able to take in that child, we should only have the receiving district be the district that approves, and the home district doesn't need to sign off on it.
Well, and the fear with that, though, is that you will have some school districts that will just empty out and others will explode in size. That's the fear that's talked about all the time. How likely is that?
I think that's just hogwash. I think that's just some fear mongering, because if you love your school, you're going to stay there, right? I mean, we love our public school. We're going to stay at our public school if it's fitting this season of our life. You know, every seasons are different for families. For example, 10 years ago when my children were receiving dyslexia therapy from me, they don't need it anymore, so they're able to go into a different setting that suits this season of their life.
Well, and that's the other problem that school choice can help address, I would think. And as always, correct me if I'm wrong here, because just because because a child needs something now doesn't mean they still need that exact thing 5 years from now.
Exactly.
It's all about flexibility, isn't it?
Yes, and that's what we need. And we're recognizing that with school choice, the flexibility, individuality. Those are the two primary components that we're addressing with school choice.
Well, it's a fight that's been going for a while, and hopefully we may see some change. Again,
Yes.
personal opinion here,
Yes.
because I think this is a good change. This is something that would help the state overall.
Absolutely. So I am asking listeners to go join us on Facebook, follow us, like us, to keep up with what's going on in the school choice landscape and how we're moving forward in Mississippi, because we are ready. Check out our website, MississippiReady.org, for more information on what options we have in Mississippi, what it looks like, because there's not one platform that provides the full menu of options in the state of Mississippi. So as we were navigating this landscape, we found that there was no one to direct us. There was no one entity that would help us and say, hey, parents, these are your options. I didn't even know an educational scholarship account existed because MDE did not advertise it, of course. So on our website, it's a platform to show and inform parents what options are out there and what the landscape could look like moving forward in the future.
Who would expect in the fight to try to get more flexibility and more options, you wouldn't know about the options and flexibility available, which is another side of the coin, isn't it?
Right.
But that's okay. That's okay. All you can do is keep working. How do they find you on social media, Facebook and
Right.
Instagram?
Our Facebook page is Mississippi Ready, because we are ready, and our website is MississippiReady.org. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Fantastic. And I got to tell you, Lance, I got to throw this suggestion in. If everybody's family is as good looking as Leah's, I think we need to make it a requirement for guests to bring their family with them to the studio moving forward.
Hey, I'm in, man. I love it when we get to see folks. I'm usually here by myself all morning, so whenever you get an awesome family get to come in, I'm all for it. So anytime.
Well, and also my children are very excited. They are jacked up on soda, which we usually
And
don't have.
glazed donuts. And glazed donuts.
Yes.
So you're welcome, teachers, when I drop them off at school.
Yeah, get them wound up and then point them in the right direction and let them go.
Right.
That's part of the joy of parenthood. Enjoyed talking to you, Leah, and
thank
keep us
you.
updated. Come back and tell us more as we get closer to the legislative session, and even when it gets started, about how things are going and what you see for the future of education in Mississippi. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you so much. Enjoy that. And these are the conversations that we've been having this one for a while. Okay, we didn't just start talking about this subject here in Mississippi, but as a general rule, the more difficult the conversation, the more you need to have it. And the higher the hill, the more you need to climb it. In this case, it feels like almost. So we have to keep talking about these things to see if we can get any kind of movement on it. Leah, good job, and keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you so much. Don't forget to go to MississippiReady.org and follow us and like us on Facebook.
See, she's a natural-born promoter. I don't know if you noticed that. Okay, do you guys practice that at your house? Because your husband was doing that same pose just a minute ago.
Yes, we're actually a hot mess circus in our house. I think most families are, and we just keep it real.
There is absolutely no reason to be otherwise, because what's the point?
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
Once the doors are closed at the house, well, whatever. Okay. Here we go. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are we at cleaning the rooms, by the way, at the house?
Each child is different. My middle one is immaculate, but can't say so much for the youngest and the oldest.
That's okay. It takes all kinds.
That's right. It does. It does.
You may see a job listing for a messy specialist sometime soon, and you got 2 candidates right off the top.
Yes, I do. They are qualified.
If you're good at something, never do it for free. Yeah, I know the Joker said that, but it still applies. It's still true. Thank you so much, Leah. We will continue here on the Gallo Show on a Friday morning right after this. Keep it here.